Heyo, this is Stracco, and today we are going to be playing The Guardian. And you may not believe it, but we're actually going to be running a good build on him this time. Mostly because I want to show off just how he can kind of turn Augur into easy mode. So we've got blocking reflects a portion of damage received if my ability is active, HP recovery from successful guarding and character skill cooldown reduction +2, and increased duration for character skill. Nothing else really matters in this build. The main thing, if you want Augur to be super easy, is having the character skill duration. So let's show that off. Alright. This is an interesting map layout. When your churches are this far apart like mine are, I'd recommend just going for two, because I could grab this one and then take the bird all the way to that one. Listen, same deal as always. Game starts, go find the nearest camp and clear it out for level 2. Otherwise, you're in for a rough time. And I apologize for this Guardian skill, it is extremely loud and annoying, I know. I won't be using it too much until Augur. Now, Augur is the next Everdark that is going to be releasing. It got pushed back by a day, so I might have to shuffle around my content pipeline, but no big deal there. And Augur has a special gimmick that I am really excited to show off. I showed it off a little bit in the Duchess video, but just Guardian is so much better at this. And it's that whenever you kill something that Augur spawns in, Augur actually takes health damage from that. So Augur you can kill entirely without swinging at it a single time, which is super cool. Like, honestly, I was just checking, because if this was a lightning camp, one thing I'll say about Augur is you need a lightning weapon against him. And it's looking like I don't have a single lightning camp on my map. So, this is another holy one. I know it's probably hard to see with YouTube compressing the video as much as it does, but yeah. Very, very difficult. But, Guardian, most people that I know of enjoy facing Augur by just using Iron Eye or using Recluse. And, I mean, that works, but I'd rather show off interesting stuff. If you ever want to do it as Iron Eye, just slap lightning on his base bow and go ham, call it a day, you'll win. Pretty easily. But Guardian, with the skill effect, is really good at killing all of the things that it summons, and you can basically just stand still. And if you have two Guardians, it's even easier. This skill, by the way, it is very strong, but I prefer the normal version for most things, because the increased duration one will stunlock stuff forever. It's kind of insane. But what it doesn't do very well is just kill things outright, whereas Guardian's skill, normally you walk up and use it on whatever you want, and it just falls over dead. So that's what I prefer. It just feels snappier and it frees up a slot, but you don't have to use it. The reflect damage ability is the one that I feel you should always run on this character because it's just insane. Anyway, in the previous episode, I talked a lot about the lore of base Elden Ring, and like what the Tarnished are and what it means to become Elden Lord and be worthy of the title. And I was just wondering, did you guys like that? Because if so, I don't want to always be talking about Elden Ring lore, but I was thinking that once Nightreign, either I feel like I've done every cool build that I can with it, or I've just exhausted the content that I can make, I was thinking that what I could do is a base Elden Ring run, or maybe a run with my good friend, and we could just talk about the game and all the cool stuff in it, and like throw out different theories and stuff for why things are the way they are. Because I'm gonna fall asleep. Dang. Oh, that wasn't bad. Because I think that's very, very interesting, but I feel like it's best done by talking about it and showing it off. And I really can't show off a ton of... Alright, well, I've got... That's one way to prevent a crit. I need to leave. That's really sad. I was just kind of hoping that the bear would let me get him. Having to leave him is really rough, because that means my run is now behind by a pretty significant amount. Okay. Yeah, I thought, like, I don't know, one of the types of content I really liked was, like I've mentioned it before, but Epic Name Bro used to do long playthroughs of the Souls games where he'd cut them into like hour-long segments and go through the game 100% it, basically, like minus getting every item, and just talk about everything. And it's a type of content that I feel is a sort of dying breed that I'd be happy to do myself, because that's what I used to like to watch. You know? That's pretty neat. Is this a Stormhawk axe? Cool. Improved guard counters. Taking damage, boost damage negation. Ooh, I got some really lucky rolls from just picking those up. If the fortress is anything but trolls. Actually, I can do trolls because I've got a cold weapon. But what I really want to do is just farm the non-trolls. If I can get to level 6 real quick, I can go down into the basement, and then I'll... Unless it's a bell-bearing knight, or bell-bearing hunter, have a pretty good shot of getting strong by going here. Yeah, if you'd like to see a series where I play through Elden Ring and just talk about it, like, as my sort of filler content between more high-effort videos, then, yeah, let me know. I'd be happy to do that and to talk about it. Yeah, I'm trying to talk a little bit, clearer, because I realized just to add some timeline, I just made my Black Myth Wukong review, which is something I've wanted to do for a minute now. And I realized that towards the end of that review, it got a little bit hard to hear me. But it wasn't like a deal breaker. But now I'm trying to be aware that as I get tired, I do get a little bit quieter and harder to understand, which, you know, makes sense. And today's been a pretty long day. One of my friends had a breakup and I was talking to them, and my other friend was learning how to drive. I was teaching my other friend how to drive, rather. Which, the fact that I'm old enough to do that feels a little bit insane. But, they did really well. Like, trust me, I have people that I drive with sometimes that, or have driven with in the past, where I question how they even have a license, because I wouldn't have passed them. This was not that. This was overall pretty calm. Like, as good as you can expect from someone who has never been behind the wheel on major roads before. Now, of course they have their permit and everything, but yeah. So, color me impressed by that. The most important thing, in my opinion, if you're ever teaching somebody something, especially something that's a little bit stressful, is staying calm. Because as stressed as you might feel trying to teach them, they also feel stressed driving. Or, you know, doing whatever it is that you're teaching. So if you stay calm and just accept that it's going to be a little scary, but that's okay, I find that that is a much better thing than just panicking. Now, if you've learned how to drive and your parent was the type to panic, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. I think if I walk here and block... Yep. Guardian has a very interesting thing, which is you can charge his guard counters. I don't believe it's with every weapon. I think it's only, Is that better than my base shield? Improved lightning attack power. I mean, kind of. I'll take it because I do need a lightning weapon. not... That's holy, okay. Thought that was lightning. I was really like, are you joking? I'm gonna run out into the storm for a quick little second just to level up. And then I want to move towards sort of the center of the map, because that's probably better to be at. Go like there. I'll kill these guys while I'm here. Again, when you're solos, just killing everything is one of the best ways to become strong enough to actually win. But yeah, if you're ever teaching somebody something, especially if they're getting frustrated, or like it's a skill where it can be a little bit panic-inducing, just stay calm. Don't look anxious and scared while they're trying to do it. And now part of that is just practicing your poker face, because yeah, it's a little scary. But the last thing that is helpful is freaking out yourself. So don't. You know? Just stress. Yeah, you're gonna make some mistakes, but that's fine. Everybody does. You also don't want to discourage people from actually trying stuff, and this is more working with kids than adults, but if something's hard and your response is to get angry at the fact they can't do it, you're gonna turn somebody off from even trying. Similarly with children, and this is just a fun little fact that I know, if you're ever trying to praise someone who's younger and they're doing something, praise them for trying, don't praise them for succeeding. It tends to, on the average, lower a kid's motivation, and I mean it lowers an adult's motivation as well, let's be real, but especially a kid, it lowers their motivation when instead of praising them for the effort, you praise them for the success. Because then if you give them something harder and they can't succeed, they'll want to quit. At least according to any research that has been done on it. And I mean, I'm not going to take the time to go find my sources, so yeah, is the research in the room with us right now, but just keep that in mind. I love these things. They're so satisfying to kill. Improved magic damage negation. I mean, I'll take that over reduced spell FP cost for sure. I could actually use this shield. I'm not going to take the time to try to look for a stone sword key up there. It's just not worth it. As for me, I'm also tired for another reason, which is in order to have the time to do YouTube, right? What I did is I'm by trade a programmer, and I basically stopped taking new work. I finished out the work that I did have, and just was gonna... The plan was to take my savings and really commit to trying to build an online presence and trying to get better at this. And my thought process is, even if my YouTube channel doesn't succeed, I want to keep it up, like, as just a... This is really fun. Like, unironically, this is something I've always wanted to do as just a... It sounded neat, but I didn't realize how much I would enjoy it. Like, it is 100% worth doing just for that, from my perspective. But the other part of it is, even if I don't succeed enough where I can do this forever, because, you know, my savings aren't gonna last me forever, I figure if I need to go back to programming work, I'll be so much better at speaking. And trust me, I've noticed an improvement, because if you can talk to a microphone and your own thoughts, well, you're either clinically insane or at least a little bit entertaining. Or if nothing else, good at just speaking. And if you watch yourself back and make a point of correcting your pronunciation, correcting your verbal tics, finding the ways where your voice sounds irritating to you, and working on those, like, it makes a difference. And putting in that effort does matter. And that's life in general, right? The worst thing that you can do in life is worry too much about doing things right at the cost of doing them at all. This dude is just the master of poise and endurance. I need to learn from him. But, It's actually something I stole from Marvel Rivals, which is 90% of life is just showing up. And have you ever heard a quote and it just resonates with you? That was me with this one. Like, if you aren't trying to put in the effort with stuff, it doesn't matter what you do. Or, sorry, if your effort with things is more about doing it perfect than getting it done, you're going to find that opportunities will pass you by while you're stuck trying to be a perfectionist. And that is the worst feeling, because you might be going, oh, but I'd rather do things perfect and make sure it's the best that it could possibly be than get things that are just good enough. But that mindset hurts you. Like, genuinely, really hurts you. I don't feel like dealing with Mr. Twinblade here. Well, apparently I don't get to deal with anything at all, because he's just going to leave and not take damage. But, you can tell that Guardian is my relaxed character because I am barely paying attention. I'm telling a story. But I remember back when I was first working, back when I was working my first programming job, I was very obsessed with trying to make things perfect. And the result was I wasn't productive enough to actually, be an asset to where I was working. And what they told me eventually was I had a senior watch me work, and he watched me fix the problem in about half an hour. And then he watched me sit there and optimize it. Well, I was going to say for hours, but no, he stopped me after, I want to say, 5 minutes, and he goes, dude, this is done and works. What are you doing? And I said, oh, well, I thought I could make it more efficient if I did it this way. And he said, dude, the efficiency that you're going to get from this isn't going to be noticed by anyone. And I was like, oh, but it could be it takes 3 seconds to load. I could probably get it loading in 1 or 2. And he went, that doesn't matter. And, looking at it now, I just agree. Not to say you should never optimize, because, one, speaking in absolutes is the mark of a Sith, but 2, there are times where you do need to optimize. But when what you're doing is such a negligible difference in something that isn't relying on instant performance, why are you going to sit there and spend 3 hours trying to make it perfect when half an hour gets a version that is good enough for everyone? Here's a good way to say it. Don't hold yourself to standards that are... Don't hold yourself to standards that only you will notice or care for. Right? Go by the standards of what your clients and your job considers good enough, not what you do. Because if you're one, you're going to burn yourself out if you go by yours and you're a perfectionist. But 2, the standards are what they are because that's what people are happy with. It's nice if you go above and beyond, but you don't need to kill yourself to go above and beyond. If you need to hear that from someone, let me be the person to say that. Good enough is good enough. If you're burning yourself out trying to be better than that, just chill. But anyway, about the project that I just got, someone from a different marketing thing that I did quite a while ago got in touch with me, and they just said, hey, have you worked with Arduinos? Which Arduinos are just small computers. A lot of the time they're used in robotics because what you can do is you can add cameras and sound sensors to them and make basic code that does little things like, hey, if you see this in your camera, go here. A lot of high school robotics will use them to, solve mazes. So, like, you'll put a camera on a robot, and you'll try to get the robot to go through a maze using the camera. Like, that's what Arduinos are for. They're very tiny, they fit in the palm of your hand, and you can connect anything that you could connect to a computer to it. So that actually includes a monitor. Yeah. My first website ever was built on a Raspberry Pi, which is just Arduino's competitor. You know, I'm saying that a computer is the size of your palm, like that's impressive, but, you know, everybody in the world, basically, well, not the world, everybody in developed countries basically carries around a computer in their pocket in the current year, current moment, so I don't know why I'm acting like that. This is something impressive. Alright, if I don't get a lightning weapon, I guess I get to show off another trick for Augur here. It's a blue weapon? It's honestly kind of tempting to go get the smithing stone, but I think I'm going to live without it. Right, but what somebody wants me to do, and I can't go into full details because unfortunately most programming work involves NDAs if it's a bigger project, non-disclosure agreements, but basically they want me to hook up a monitoring system where it's going to watch something and let people know if this thing needs attention or not. If you can't see it, it is a Revenant, by the way. That's all it is. So, a camera that looks at something and using a data bank and AI, which this is one of those projects where I feel like AI is being added to it for no reason, but whatever. If I'm getting paid to use a tool, I'm not going to say no. Unless they're asking for something that is just blatantly wrong for the job. Like, if they want to use AI, and AI is the new hot button topic for people, they want it in everything because people don't understand the limits for the most part. I just accidentally did a charged R2 and not a guard counter. Unlucky. Guardian actually has one of my favorite dodges in the game because it's very fast. Again, I'm not using his skill, mostly because I know it is incredibly annoying when you've got the increased duration. But they want me to have a camera monitor something, and the idea for now is it will alert people if the thing needs changed. And eventually that might change to controlling it itself, but the thing with programming work is it's actually an entire job to break down what people need. I'm dead because I pressed R2 by accident trying to hold my skill. You can hold Guardian Ultimate and it gives you invulnerability for a little bit, and I messed it up, let it go, and then tried to rehold it. But the thing about being a programmer is you need to get used to really honing in on understanding what people need from you, because you'll never really be the expert in anything that you're making. So just as an example, because I don't have an NDA for this one, actually, I made something that helps people track their work in regards to work done inside of a school district. Like, the people who are using it, they go into school districts and they give specialized help to the kids. Cool, right? But I don't know anything about how they actually do that. So I didn't know the full scope of what they wanted because they said, oh, an app to track our time and let us keep notes. And I have to sit there and go, okay, well, on a surface level, that's maybe like a couple $1,000 job because I'll be done it so quick. What else do you want? And of course, you don't tell people like, oh, it'll be this much money until you understand it. So like with this video monitoring system, if all they want is that, that's easy. If they also want it to be only living on their local network and also controlling the stuff, not just watching it and alerting them based on information, well, suddenly we're talking about a much more difficult product. So yeah, I guess to bring it back to not just rambling, I put my savings aside and said, I'm going to give YouTube a real shot, and that's what I'm currently doing. And even if I have to go back to doing a lot more work, I plan on keeping up. It just might be where I'm going from posting every other day to posting like every once a week. You know, maybe a little less time for editing, so more effort put into the script writing and stuff that I can do while I'm not really having the energy to do a lot of editing. Yeah. But this person got in touch with me, and I said yes because it shouldn't be too hard, and also working with the little Arduinos is fun. Um, Outside of high school and college, you kind of stop getting to work with this because this type of thing is either handled by much, much bigger companies or not what people need to hire a small contractor for. Like, you'll get a lot more, I would like to make an app for my company, or I need to update my website, than you will, hey, can you configure this robot to give us this information? So, it's an exciting job. And it's one of those jobs that I want to do in my free time, if I have free time. But, yeah. I don't know. That's the other thing. So, one thing that I do that really helps me with these live commentaries, by the way, is in case I ever find that I'm at a loss, I didn't realize this was a great bow. Oops. In case I ever find that I'm at a loss for what to say, I have a quick little list of things that have gone on in my life, and interesting ways to, and like little like stories that I want to tell. So now I'm going to get stepped on by a giant while I read through this list. Whoop. Yeah, taught my friend to drive, got a little project involving a mini computer. Yeah, programmers aren't experts in what they make, so it's important to always get a very clear understanding of what people are asking you for. Don't just assume, because bad planning will double or triple how long a project takes, and you probably are going to be eating that cost unless you're working for a major company. Oh, you know, here's a topic that is relevant to almost everyone in the world. Taking damage boosts damage negation. 21%, 36%. Improved damage negation, improved guard counters, improved magic damage negation. Forget that. That's dating. So, dating is something that is pretty hard. That goes for whether you are with somebody and still trying to figure out how to make them happy, or you are not with somebody and hoping to be, because dating is just a big part of life. And it's also a confusing part of life and kind of scary. But one thing that I wanted to share with my experience, right? And that this kind of comes back around to making these videos. Don't be afraid, and this is adult advice. If you are currently in middle school or like elementary school watching this, don't take this so seriously. This is, it's still good advice, but it's advice for when you're like working a job and you've got a busy life. You're not just going to school. But never be afraid to ask someone that stands out to you, respectfully, if they'd like to go out sometime. That's really all it is. Now, will this work? I mean, sometimes, depends on where you are. If you're in college and someone seems cute, and you just go up to them and say, hey, would you like to go out sometime? Like, no pressure, I just like your look, I thought you looked interesting, and I'd like to get to know you better. That is an incredibly polite, nice way to do that. Most people, even if they've got a boyfriend or they don't want to because they're just too busy with life and don't see it working out, will be flattered if you ask them like this. Now, it just... I've found it's a lot more... One, it builds your confidence, right? Don't be too nervous about getting rejected. Because if you're asking people that are attractive to you and stand out in some way, chances are good they're attractive to someone else and they're gonna have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And, you know, you just gotta shrug that off and say, oh, what I do actually for this, because even though I'm prepared for it, it always sucks to get rejected. I just have a scripted line. Like, I've got a scripted opener of, hey, I thought you looked interesting and I'd like to get to know you better. And I've got a scripting closer of if they say, I have a boyfriend, oh, lucky guy. Or I have a girlfriend, you know, I have asked lesbians out before. It happens. Just, oh, lucky girl, congratulations. And then, if you were having a good conversation before then, don't just leave. So many people make this mistake, right? Smile, and my favorite follow-up is, hey, if you don't mind me asking, this is the only lightning weapon, huh? Well, that's gonna be rough, but I can make it work. Smile and say, oh, if you don't mind me asking, dating is hard. How did you two meet? Now, a lot of the time, the answer you're gonna get is, oh, we went to school together. But, and you know, if you're not currently in school, that's not very helpful. But it's a very nice question, and it kind of shows them that you weren't just hoping to date them. You genuinely thought they were cool. I don't know, it's nice, and I found that when I take the time to do that, very rarely do I get a bad result. And that kind of goes for everything. Look, if you assume that people aren't trying to hurt your feelings and that, like... if you assume that people aren't trying to hurt your feelings and you always lead with kindness first, it's pretty rare that you'll get bad reactions from people, almost no matter what you do. Just, you know, don't be nasty or weird. Like, okay, you got rejected. That's all, and that's fine. You know, that doesn't determine your worth. Now, I'm pretty experienced in getting rejected. Where I am not experienced is breakups and how that feels. Perfumers are the most annoying things. We're getting very close to Augur here, so don't worry, my rambling's almost done. But if you ever find yourself, complete cheat sheet, I know, the fact that I've got like so much of this information memorized as information that's important and relevant to know so that I don't make mistakes probably says a lot about me. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're getting repeatedly shot by a crossbow. Jesus Christ, he reloads this thing so fast. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where you really don't understand what someone has gone through, or it's just so horribly bad that, like, no words of comfort will work, the best thing you can do is just listen. So with these horses, I like to try to ult right away and hit them all. If you don't get them all, it's fine, but just helps. Now, the whirlwind should stagger the mini horses, which makes them a complete joke to beat. Ow. Hey. Can you stop hitting me in the face, please? I hate when the tree sentinel won't leave you alone. There. Yeah. Just listen to them. Don't try to say you know what they're going through. Even if you do, they will not be happy to hear you say that. And just let them talk. Like, hey, yeah, I can't imagine what you're going through, but you're not alone. This is one of those, like, it's a simple spell, but quite unbreakable moments where you, will help them more by doing this than trying to say, I understand. Anyway, let's focus on the Tree Sentinel. With this particular boss, be careful blocking because he can hit around your shield. And also, his friends here really like putting their shield up and not bringing it down. I mean, if you've got a damaging ult, it's kind of easy to deal with, but still annoying. If you dodge backwards, it pretty significantly lowers the chance of them hitting around your shield. So all of this damage that I'm taking is chip damage because Guardian only blocks physical damage 100%. He does not block magic damage 100%. The other thing that's happening is I can't do guard counters because I'm getting blown back so hard, which is why I keep on accidentally doing R2 swings. If you're close enough, this attack whiffs. Ah. So yeah. In this episode of helping people that are some form of neurodivergent understand how to be a basic human being, there you go. You just do that. Just listen. You don't need to say that you understand. In fact, you're probably better off not. Let them feel like they are having a unique experience in terms of how they're hurting. And even if it's not unique, just don't make it about how other people are. Like, oh, other people have survived this. That will never make somebody happy. Physical attack or affinity attack? I think physical. Ugh. Yeah. I really like doing these live commentaries. It's just a way to talk through pretty ad-lib life and how I feel and where I am. I do hope you guys like the review content and stuff that I do sometimes as well. Like, why am I buying this? You could tell I've played a lot of Revenant lately. I do not need this. Honestly, maybe a Warming Stone would be good. Warming Stone, Boiled Crab. Probably Warming Stone. It's just free healing at the end of the day. And now I have the perfect opportunity to show off why Guardian is so good at fighting Augur. I plan on making an Augur guide, actually, before the Everdark one drops, because this is, as I said earlier, the most misunderstood boss in the game. And let's show it off. So, with Augur, anything that he summons, if you kill it, it damages him. And the reason Guardian is really good at this is this Whirlwind. Also, you can block his spin move that just hit me, that I really didn't need to take damage from. And you could just stand here and block basically anything he does and just take chip damage. The magic damage attacks he does hurt a little bit, but like, not enough. Oh, and he does this again. And we do this again. Oh. Yeah. Now, of course, you don't even have to block these, you could dodge through them. Even as Guardian, your dodge as Guardian isn't bad. It's actually better than Duchess's first dodge in terms of iframes. It has more. I know, crazy, right? Oh, this is the other thing about Guardian. These do physical damage. So, one, you can block them. But killing these, actually, hurts Augur as well. Now again, Augur always does some magic damage. But not a ton. There we go. Now, the best way to kill him is obviously hitting him. But, assuming that you can't, this is fine. Just kind of look over every so often. There you go, killing those. Releases those at him. I know it looks like those missed, but look, they circle back around. They'll hit him eventually. Drop a Warming Stone if you want. We're about at the point where Augur should do his first special attack. Not special attack, but that's fine. So, fun fact, he's actually even easier in trios, as goofy as that'll sound, because your Whirlwind will still kill all of the jellyfish, and if your team huddles near you, it kills all of them for them as well. Alright, this is a special attack, so watch very carefully, just hit him with some lightning, should take like 3 hits, and he's done. Now, if you don't have lightning, what you could do, and I'll show it off by... I'll actually show it off by using iframes. I'll show it off next time by intentionally not lightning damaging him. These do physical damage, very easy to just block. In fact, you can heal by blocking these things if you want. Only problem with them is they're annoying to hit sometimes because they, I don't know what you call it. They, like, kind of flail about, and you can lock onto their head. Yeah, see, like, I'm just missing right now. I'm gonna die for doing this. Womp womp. That's why I have 2 Wending Grazes. There we go. All of those go and hit Augur. Dodge through that because I don't feel like blocking all of them. Yeah. He would already be dead if I was focusing on him, by the way. This is what I mean by they can hit around you. Very annoying. But if you block them, they actually bounce. So, if you block them, I say, as I proceed to just get punched in the face for no reason. There we go. What's he gonna do about it? I mean, I guess summon jellyfish, but... There you go. And one just goes over there and blows up, which... Whatever. Okay, so watch. With this, if you ult as a damaging ult, it knocks him out of it. Even if you don't, you can iframe through it. It's a very... You lose a lot of damage because breaking him out of it with electricity will deal bonus damage to him, but it's not bad. Now, this massive nuke, where is he? Oh, okay. I'm gonna iframe it with the critical. That massive nuke, if you break it, does like 2,000 damage to him in trios. It probably does like 600 in singles, but still is insanely good. Yep, he respawns his stuff. You get super armor by using your whirlwind, but it's really not worth the trade most of the time because you can just sit here, block, be fine anyway. There we go. Pop the whirlwind. The more he summons, the more he hurts himself. Now, unfortunately, this version lasts a little bit too long, but it's okay, because you just get a second power if you wait. There we go. Oh, block that. Thank you. I hope this is showing you just how easy this fight can be. It's one of my favorites to just do to relax, sort of farm. Now, granted, Iron Eye with electricity, probably still the easier way to beat him. Like, let's be honest, but this way's funny. Oh, he's using his thing. Shoot. I'm not even paying attention. There we go. Oh, that wasn't a... That wasn't the lightning breaking him out. That was the critical hit. Or that was the stagger. Yeah, the other thing is these balls do a shit ton of poise damage. I don't know why that they do, which is why he keeps staggering. Well, resummons his thing. I'm not even gonna hit him. I think it's funnier to finish him off by just hitting this. And like, if I had face cam on, you'd be able to see I am legitimately just vibing. Oh, he died. I don't even know where he was. Oh, there you are. So yeah, I don't know what Augur is going to be, the Everdark version. For all I know, they could be really funny and turn him into the most high-octane, crazy fight in the game. But, in terms of regular Augur, that's how you beat him easily as Guardian. Like, legitimately easily. I am pretty sure I could teach my mom how to do this if I wanted. But yeah, ooh. That is an insanely good yellow for Guardian. Character skill cooldown, physical attack up +2, and improved attack power, 3 great swords, throwing daggers, change compatible armament, flaming strike. There we go. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. That was The Guardian. Let me know what you'd think about a proper Elden Ring Let's Play, maybe talking to one of my real life friends while we do it. And yeah, until next time, see ya.